I got a million ways to get it. Choose one.
Choose one.
Hey, bring it back, bring it back. Now double your money and make it stack. I'm on to the next one. On to the next. I'm on to the next one. On to the next. I'm on to the next one. On to the next. I'm on to the next one. On to the next.
Hold up.
Hey, somebody bring me back some money, please.
Welcome this week on Overstanding Production. We have a very interesting topic, somewhat touchy topic to discuss this week, interracial dating. We have a very special guest, but he does not want to be known. He finds it really hard to discuss this topic, so he wants to not be known. My name, of course, is Papa Bear, and here we go. Can you define interracial dating, sir?
Yes. First, I'd like to say thank you very much, Papa Bear, for having me on the show today. I was a little bit apprehensive about discussing this topic, in fear of my safety, let's say. I don't want to let too much out there, but it is good to discuss these things in the contemporary. What was your question, sir?
Can you define interracial dating?
Oh, interracial dating. Wow, that's okay. Well, interracial race was defined, as we know, by the Enlighteners in the Ben Franklin area, I believe, out of Europe. They defined it for a number of reasons. One of the reasons was to implement hierarchy of human in the world that they've used to the so-called benefit of the white nation around the globe. So interracial, as defined by the European Western society, is based on three racial tiers, which is one which is white, two which is red, and three which is black or brown. Okay? I, being a black man in the United States, represent the black tier. Okay? So any dating outside of my tier of blackness would be considered interracial, and that is how I define interracial dating.
Have you ever been in an interracial dating relationship?
Okay, well, that is a tough question, Papa Bear, Brother Papa Bear, because what I will say is that I have been a part of an interracial dating thing. I would not go so far to suppose that it was a relationship. A relationship to me implies that two equal parties come together with equal facilities and capacities and rights and dignity, okay, and work together to empower and enlighten each other. Under this fashion, love is two energy beings coming together and creating more abundance of energy and beauty, okay? So have I ever been a part of a relationship with someone who was not part of the black nation, of people as defined by the Eurocentric Western civilization? No, I have not been in a dating relationship. I have dated, I have gone out for coffee and tea, I may have tested the loins of the more pale racial complexion, okay, but never have I been in a true, decent, equitable, respectable, and respected relationship with anybody outside of my race, as classified by the Western civilization and Eurocentrism.
Okay. My next question is, how has that interracial relationship affected your life?
Again, we have to reestablish the terminology, Papa Bear. So these dating situations with people that have been classified as white, okay? In these dating situations, how have they affected my life? I would say that they have reiterated my concern and disappointment with the way that the white nation interacts, okay, with human beings themselves and others, okay, as defined by them, others, part of the black and red nations, okay, upon this planet. It reaffirms my disappointment, okay, in these people and their children, okay, because of what I've seen. Essentially, I've noticed a lack of disrespect from the white nation, white woman in interracial dating that probably can be linked to indoctrination through the education system and the media, okay, but above and beyond that, I have seen white women, okay, make a personal choice to behave in a dismissive and negative and disrespectful fashion towards myself as a black man and my children as beautiful black women. That is a reality for me. And it's a reality for a lot of brothers that are doing this, taking this ill-advised plunge into dating whiteness. Next question.
So how do you feel about two underrepresented groups as viewed in the United States, such as a black man and a Latina woman as an interracial relationship? Or an Asian woman, or a black man, or a Latino man and an Asian woman?
Well,
Any
again,
variety.
great question. I'm going to have to go again based on my limited life experience in answering this question. I will say that when you're talking about, when you're limiting your discussion and dating to simply the European whiteness-dominated Western culture, I would say that interracial dating is implausible simply based on the tonnage of the skin, okay, and what that means, what literally the color of skin means in the United States, okay, color versus lack of color, okay, the dichotomy of white versus black, brown, red, okay, orange, that's it, beige, whatever, okay, so that dichotomy, okay, as established, because when this hierarchy was created, we do have to recognize, all right, that the Europeans who created this pseudoscientific construction placed themselves, ironically, at the top of the hierarchy in terms of the most positive, the most productive race, the most necessary, and the most evolved race was their suppositions, was their false beliefs. Okay? Now, keeping that in mind, I believe that there's no, in this present day, in 2011, in June 2011, there is not a white person, white skin tone person in the United States that I have met to this day that is capable of an interracial dating experience that can turn into a relationship that I believe as credible. All right? That being said, the red and black races as defined by the Eurocentric Western culture, okay, do have a similarity. They have a similarity of struggle in the dichotomy of black, red versus white as set up by the white Eurocentrist, okay? And in that, I believe that we can truly have empathy for each other, and we can truly come at each other, black and red, as simply defined by them, okay? Black and red can come together and have a positive impact on each other. In addition to just having a positive impact on emotional and social success, we can come together and support each other psychologically and very personally, okay? And we know of similar experiences. We can be invested in similar experiences. We can be trusting and trusted about similar experiences that we've gone through, and we can come together and use each other as a support system as we still deal with the major repression that is being imposed and indoctrinated upon us all, but it is being indoctrinated upon us by the white nation in the United States.
What if that white man or white woman uplifts? What if that white man or white woman uplifts?
You got some white pussy stuck in your lip, my man.
It's not good. It's not good.
We're definitely putting that in.
This should be like a blooper. What if that white man or white woman uplifts that black man or black woman? Positively.
Well, the only way that a white person in the United States can uplift any member of the black or red nations, as defined by the Eurocentrist, okay, would be through playing the role of an honorary servant. Okay, this role has been defined, I believe, by Overstanding Vision in a paper I saw recently called The Miseducation of the Gringo. This term was first introduced by Brother Chango as a show, Chango's Thunder, to me, okay? I don't really recall who introduced it to him. He reminded me that when working within other struggles, okay, of nations, okay, and a nation is a group of people, that's simply all it is, so there are many different nations on this planet, okay? So working within different nations that you don't feel that you aren't personally a part of, okay, emotionally, literally, physically, saliently, whatever it is, ideologically, you must take on a role of honorary servitude, okay? And in this way, you go in and you listen humbly to the concerns presently and to the solutions driven by the people that are most affected, okay, and the people that you are serving. And when you hear that advice, all right, you take the suggestions of these people without implementing any of your suggestions. You humbly submit to their guidance completely. That is the only way that we can revamp, okay, that we can scale back the fucking crud of oppression from the role of an oppressor. The only way. And the reason I say we right now is because now I'm thinking personally about myself as a male and how I would have to approach the women's liberation movement. Not the white women's liberation movement, okay? The women's liberation movement, okay? That's been going on for fucking ever, okay? And in that movement, I have no choice but to submit, to humbly listen, and to take guidance stoically and consistently, without judgment or question, without implementing my patriarchal mentality upon anything, okay? I serve. And in that service, I can begin to exonerate myself from the repression and oppression and exploitation of woman that has been me as man in the United States. Okay? So in that way, if there's a white person who is able and capable and willing every fucking moment to exist as an honorary servant to a black or red human, say give it a try.
What is your solution? What should we do?
Well, I suggest that we have resegregation in relationships. I think it's necessary for actual progression and evolution in our society because we have not healed from the scars of oppression and racism, okay, that have been inflicted upon us. All right? And when you have a scar, okay, and you bandage it up early and you don't clean it, okay, and you let it heal superficially, then you are left with bacteria. You are left with it infesting. You're left with an infestation, okay, in that wound that is going to live on forever until dealt with. We need to go back, okay, to a place where black people can have positive relationships with black people. And in terms of dating, definitely in terms of dating relationships, boyfriend-girlfriend relationships, engaged relationships, married relationships, same gender or otherwise, I could give two fucking shits, alright, to be perfectly honest. But we need to, as black people, reestablish what it is to have a black relationship with each other, what it is to have a black family with each other, okay, what it is to have a black relationship with our daughters and our sons, what it is to have a black relationship with our counterparts, our youth on the street, what that means, okay? And that takes us being trusting and trustworthy to each other in the relationships that we have that exist today, that are weak relationships. Because of the world we live in, they are weak relationships. But we can overstand that. We are beautiful kings and fucking queens, all right? And we can overstand that, and we can build on this, and again, reinvigorate and reunite the black relationship and the black family. And when that happens within the black group, within the red group, and within the white group, because those motherfuckers need work too. Because they are us too, and they've been separated, so now they're they. But they need work too. Us. We need work. Separately. Together, in this country, the way that we've established it with the class structure and the racial hierarchy being connected so closely to it like a caste system, it is implausible and illogical, and we will forever spin perpetually down the wrong path of disrespectful relationships, of unworthy fucking white people dating beautiful king and queen black people and treating them like shit. And I'm done with it. We deserve more than that. We fucking do. So let's step up and deserve it of ourselves and deserve it of the brothers and sisters that we see on the fucking street in every capacity. And goddamn, if I fucking knew that a black woman was gonna watch this show and maybe holler at my black ass, I'd move this fucking tree out from in front of here and flash my phone number on the bottom of the screen. Because we're dying up here in the goddamn desert. But just because we're up here in the desert doesn't mean we can't find, okay, that diamond in the sand. That's the solution. Us is the solution.
If you want something to play with, go and find yourself a toy. Baby, my time is too expensive, and I'm not a little boy. If you are serious, don't play with my heart, it makes me furious. But if you want me to love you, then baby, I will. Girl, you know I will. Tell